Thank you guys very much, and we are very proud to roll this out, and really feel like there's a need, and really even just hearing you guys, as Gordon mentioned it, a couple of the claps and stuff, it's obvious that it is something that everybody's thinking about, and part of the reason that we started to roll out with this program is just look at the numbers. And if you just really start paying attention, 7 out of 10 American workers say that stress is their leading stress. The financial stress is their leading stress. There's 8 folks on each row here in most of these rows. Right? That's 5.6. So let's round down because let's say most of you guys are a little ahead of the game. So 5 people on each one of your rows, as you're looking at your neighbors, have financial stress as a major stress. Right? Doesn't mean you're going broke. It just means, okay, you know what, I just noticed that my refrigerator might be going out. Or now I'm worried about driving through the parking lot and running over nails at the end of the time. Whatever it may be, and you start looking at what people nationally have in savings and what the surveys show, and you start looking at, think about you, think about your kids, think about your grandparents. 83% of Latinos have $0 in savings. 66% of millennials have 0 in savings. How many of you guys, either yourselves or know somebody who has student loan debt? Right? Okay, raise hand. Do you know about all the programs that are out there that you can have that student loan debt forgiven? Right? Do you know what an emergency savings fund is? How many months makes up a good emergency savings fund? Right? 3 to 6, there you go. So, you guys are going to need this. So that's the need there. And a lot of the questions that we're getting for a lot of folks in here, retirement savings, which has been the big focus for so many years, and I hate to say this, normally a guy who runs retirement plans shouldn't say this, for many, many folks, it's not number 1 on your list. It's probably not even number 4 on your list. You've got to get just through the basics before you can decide how much do I need to save. And so that's really the purpose and why we went through it. And many of these things that you see listed here are, again, probably something that has impacted you or may impact you in the future. Right? Your TRS, we're big fans of TRS. It's a great resource for you guys in retirement, but it's under attack, right? They just lowered the rate from 8% to 7.25%. There's constantly, every several years during legislative sessions, folks coming up and attacking it. So that core that was, everybody kind of said, well, I'll let TRS take care of me. That's not necessarily the truth anymore. Cost of living increases aren't there anymore. Medical costs are rising. We're living longer. It's not unrealistic to live longer in retirement than while working. Payday loans. Why are those such a horrible deal? And if you look at who takes payday loans, most people think that a payday loan is taken by somebody who is minimum wage or whatever it may be. We've been approached by companies, I don't know why they came to us, they thought we would be good folks to go through, where they targeted teachers on payday loans. Their average W-2 income was somebody making $55,000. Their average loan was $3,000. So it's not just for folks that are minimum wage or whatever it may be. Folks of all income levels need to find where they can get access to cash. How can they get it in case of a need? Do you go to the payday loan? Do you go to the bank? Do you use your credit card? Or against your 403B? There's a lot of different things out there. And the number 1 piece, and this was really important to Dr. Taylor, it was really important to us. Unfortunately, this industry has been dominated and driven by the fact that the only place you could go to get any financial advice was somebody who then said, now let you sign up for this now. Right? They were there to sell you something. That's the beauty of this program. There is nothing to sell. It's a provided benefit. We've got our folks standing by, waiting on calls and having meetings. It's a resource. We're not here to sell you anything. So we built this platform, and what we're going to go over the demo is really trying to get really 4 different components. I mean, you guys know much better than I. Everybody learns a little differently, right? So some of you want to watch videos at home while you can do it. Some of you guys want a toolkit where you can kind of move around some calculators and play with it there. And then most folks actually just want to talk to somebody. You have a question. The benefit of being able to Google almost anything is that the information is there, but you may have no idea what you're reading, right? So now you have the ability to schedule a meeting with somebody, spend some time with somebody who can actually say, yes, ma'am, here's how college savings works. Would you like to help out your daughter or your grandchild or whatever it may be? So you have that support, and then you have that coaching component where we actually take the fiduciary liability on the advice that we're providing to you. So what comes out of us is, yeah, I mean, you could if you want, yeah, sure, why not, doesn't sound bad. It's going to be, yes, here are your options, and this sounds like a better one. Okay, you're going to be able to get that aspect of it. And there's just a little bit of the modules here. I'll actually just show you, and it's really simple, and you guys will have access to this, and we're going to demo. And like Gordon said, you're going to get this demo later on. It's very important. I would say the first thing you do when you go into you log in, and you make it to the planning toolkit, there's a wellness survey. It's 15 questions. It'll take you 2 or 3 minutes, and it's simply, do you have a checking account or a savings account? Do you have an emergency fund? Do you like talking about, having financial conversations? What do you feel you have adequate enough of insurance? And it'll tell you at the end of that piece, what's my score? And it'll give you an overall score, and then it'll give you a couple of components relative to insurance. It was just mentioned about switching your benefits provider. Wouldn't it be nice to know before going into that meeting, I'm underinsured or I'm overinsured? Wouldn't it be nice to know some of these things before you start having the conversations then on what product you ought to buy? So I highly recommend, and we'll show you that score. If you're going to do anything you went through, go in, take your score, get where you are, then come back and play with a lot of the rest of the tools. Matt, did I miss anything so far?
All good. Great job.
Okay. So here is the website. So you'll go to financialpathway.com, and in your email you're going to get all of this. And you come up, click the login button in the upper right-hand corner. I've already got my password and everything saved here. But when you get to the website, it's very simple to register. You're going to get dropped to this page, down-click, hit region 10, put in your personal information. After that piece comes through, an email is going to be generated, and then you're going to have to go get a code and then come back and finish the login. We want to make sure everything you put in here is protected. Data security is absolutely important because you're going to have some personal stuff in here. Now, when it comes to the name and everything of that nature, use whatever name you have registered with your employer. All right? So probably no nicknames unless that's what they have on file. Your email will be your work email address in order to log everybody in. So go back to login here. So I'm going to log in with my information, and it's going to take me to my main portal. And on this portal, I've got access to all the different pieces here. You notice TCG posts blogs every now and then. So we're going to have blogs up here on the right-hand side that have access to information, social feeds for our Twitter pulls through, and then the different resources that you have available. And as we continue to add resources to this, you're going to see that list on the longer list there just continue to get longer and longer. So let's start with, I told you guys to start with the toolkit, so I'm going to go to the toolkit first. Planning toolkit, and what's going to pop up is my score and my profile. So I've already taken the survey, and it says I've got an overall score of 54. I save fairly well, I don't have a lot of debt, but my spending habits are erratic, and my insurance protection, I'm underinsured. So now you can see, what do I need to work on? And some of the things it's going to do here, and you can see as I scroll down a little bit, easy wins, to-dos. Those easy wins, you can go in, have you looked at your credit score? Click yes. Right? Have you done this? Yes, no. The whole benefit is giving you the impact of some easy things to do in a to-do list that you can knock off that helps you increase that wellness score. So you can see direct impact of what your activities are and helping you continue to go there. And you're going to have a summary here. Under this to-do column, as you guys get to play with that on the right side, you want to set a goal to have so much in savings for a vacation. put a to-do, vacation, right? Christmas gifts. I want $1,000 or whatever it may be by December 1st or by Black Friday. And you can put that money in there. So now I've taken the test. So now I have the rest of this piece to go through. So, take action, my money here. As I mentioned, retirement is not the key focus here. Your financial literacy, your financial wellness is the key focus. So you don't even see lifetime income, which is retirement and investments till the very end. That's at the bottom. So let's worry about my money. So I'm going to come in here, and what I can do under this My Money section is start putting in all of my information. Many of you guys have maybe heard of mint.com, where you can put in some, and it pulls your credit card information and your transaction, or maybe you see something similar to this on one of your bank accounts, but it's not on all the other bank accounts. You can go in and put all of this information, and you can see this spinning. So I linked an investment account where my wife bought Disney for our niece, and so right now it's going to calculate. So every time you come in, it's going to edit that feature for there. It's going to edit a company credit card that I have pulled in there. So you don't have to worry, this isn't any of my information. I'm not that bold. And you can see what's in my my checking, savings, my mortgage. You put in all of your information so that you have this place to go to and really start seeing. Now, the benefit of this then, after you put in your accounts, and it's very easy, in the upper right-hand corner, you see the add account. You can add it. You can do it two ways. You can link it directly to an account with just the username and password, or if you'd like to do a manual entry, which some of mine are, you can just put in my home is worth X, or I have a Chevy truck and it's worth Y. Whatever you want to do there as you go through. Then it pulls in the transaction. What did I just do there? Okay. The transactions, you can see that pull through. What I really like though is the other tools. As you click on spending, it tracks where I am, what I spent this last month, $738. And then I can click and get in more detail of what that actually looks like and the gas bill and whatever I spent there. Then I can track my budget history, and I can see what I'm over budget, when I'm under budget. Hopefully at the beginning of the month, these are all green, and then they go green, yellow, red as you're getting closer to all of these. Do not go in there and inflate your budget just so you can beat it every time. I know it feels good to win. That was suggested yesterday. I'm not going to point out by who, but it was suggested by somebody that maybe I'll just add that a little bit higher. Try to be true to yourself through that piece there. And then you can see the trends and you can start tracking piece there. So, how many of you have at some point said, well, it's December we always spend, right? It's Christmas. Okay. Well, January, we went to that party, you remember, honey, we did that. And every month is an excuse. And then you realize 6 months later, you're talking, and again, you're still making, well, it was our niece's birthday, or it was my grandfather's birthday, whatever it may be. Now you can actually go back and track. All right, if I really just created a pattern here of overspending on something each and every month, and that line will continue to move. Now, when you initially put in one of your cards or information, it's just going to pull back 3 months. So then it's going to continue to build month over month as you get to that piece. And then you can see the various things, and you can track your cash flow or whatever it may be. Now we come to lifetime income. So now that you've got everything set aside and you know what you're spending, and there's obviously a lot more to this when you guys get through playing with it, but now you can come in here and say, what do I want in retirement? What are mine? There's two important numbers here. There's the needs and there's the wants. How much do I need? I told the system I needed $4,000 each and every month in retirement to pay the mortgage, pay the bills, just to wake up. I'd like to have $6,000, or I want to have $6,000 to start messing around and doing other things. So focus on that number. What do you actually have to have? That should be your need. And then your want would be, okay, I'd like to travel, I'd like to do this, and estimate what those pieces are. And as you can see down the right-hand side there, you've got the different accounts that are pulling in, And then very big here in the other income, you can go in and add in your pension, add in your TRS. If you have a spouse with an annuity or something of that nature, you can go in and add those as well. If you say, you know what, I thought I got Social Security, that was great. However, I always attend those Region 10 quarterly financial planning seminars that are held, and I just learned that my Social Security is not going to be there. Well, now it's back down and I don't meet my goals. And so you can then say, well, I want to save more, I want to save less, and how does that impact your goals as well? So that will show you if the behaviors that you have today, if you're on track or if you're off track. You say, okay, what if I just spend a little bit more or save a little bit more? How will that impact my case here? And then a lot of the times when you guys are signing up for your retirement account, you're probably just randomly picking something. Or maybe you say, okay, I think I kind of feel this way, so let's do that. Well, now you can come in here, answer a handful of questions, and it'll tell you what investment style should you be. Should you be 60% in safe money and 40% in the stock market? So you can go through all of these different pieces, and it'll answer the questions. And they're down here at the bottom left, your answers from a day ago, that I took the quiz. I can go back and I can review all of those and say, you know what, I've gotten closer to retirement. Now I need to change my answers, and you just retake that quiz. So and then the last piece there is a library of a lot of articles. What's your credit score, things like that. If you'd like to read, it's a lot of the links out to that. So this is the toolkit. This is the part where you can put what you've learned to action. Now you may be saying, Chris, I don't even know the basics of something. I got to start a little bit lower. Great. So what you do is you click the learning modules. It's going to take you to this page with a whole bunch of videos that are going to be short in nature, 3 to 7 minutes, depending on the topic. And it's going to have everything from what's a payday loan to how to get a mortgage, build an emergency savings fund. A few people in this room could skip that video. That was impressive. But what's your credit score? Identity protection, insurance. What does a lot of that stuff mean? And I'll click on one just to kind of show you how they pop up. And throughout these videos, as you'll listen to the video,
if you pay bills, have a job, pay taxes, or engage in almost any other kind of financial transaction, you probably have or need a checking account. That's why it's important to understand checking accounts and payment options like checks, debit cards, and credit cards. This brief module will give you...
The audio works.
The audio works. I was told to test this stuff. It works. Right?
You want to play it, it should.
Oh, that'd be good. So you guys can see how it is, and then walk through. And when you get to certain parts, it'll just say, okay, did you understand this? Okay, try this calculator. So it actually is engaging in the fact that you'll be able, to learn certain pieces. And there's everything again, like I said, from overdraft fees. Some of these things maybe you know what they are. You might want to make your kid watch some of these things on basic stuff. It certainly as well. So monthly tools. So a lot of information here for you guys to access. Then, let's say you do have an account with the employer, or a retirement account. You can then access that RAMS account. So you click on that link, it takes you to this page here. And then if you have your account, I'm in Heath and El Paso, but you pop up here, it's going to have that screen which you guys are familiar with if you have your retirement accounts through your employer. So all of this is single sign-on, so it'll get to those pieces as well. Then the last piece, sorry guys, we're trying to put as much information on a website as possible, so you can go and play around for quite a while. The hard thing about building out a tool, and what we did is we tried to go around, we tried to find the best of videos and the best of calculators and pull everything together. You guys have a very different financial situation than most folks in Social Security, and you're very aware of that. So we've gone out, we've also found other tools, and we've built some videos that, like you see here. We've added some blogs and some things that are targeted towards your situation as a TRS member. So you can watch what's the windfall elimination provision, what's the government pension offset. There's a short video there to try to teach you that, so you can come, watch the video, estimate how much you'll actually receive, then go back and actually put it in a calculator and not just use, not just kind of wing it, so to speak, there. Any initial questions on a lot of the tool? A lot of it just takes diving in before I show you, the last piece of it. Yes, ma'am, it will flip. It's not an app, but it is mobile friendly if you're using it on a tablet or whatever it may be. So, yes, ma'am.
It's silly. Our budget isn't from the first of the month to the first of the month. It's the 20th through the 20th. Are you able to fix your budget and spending? Are you able to configure it to certain
The
dates?
20th,
That's the problem that I find with a lot of budgeting tools is it's first through the 30th or first through the 31st.
Right. Let's see. We'll ask and see if that's something that can be adjusted. I don't know.
One of the things they're using us for is we're gonna guinea pig a little bit. Now, those of you who know me about software know I don't want the software out there until it's ready. And so TCG had to prove to me that it was ready, except for maybe a couple of bugs or simply improvements that we can spot for them. And so if you spot something like that, and what she was talking about was, what if because of when our paychecks come in our household, we need to set our budget the 20th to the 20th instead of the 1st to the 31st? Can we do that? That's a suggestion Chris and Matt are now taking back and seeing what they can do to add that.
Yeah, certainly. And then the last piece that I want to show you here, again, I emphasized it at the beginning, on your security. We want you guys to feel, comfortable with everything. And so when you guys are loaded, I'm going to go to the security tab just so you guys, when you guys are loaded, you click on profile and then you go to security. And on the security, about halfway down, you see privacy settings that you can click on here. Then that top button should be checked when you guys get access to your account. If it's not, go and check that button if you'd like to, or uncheck it. What does that button mean? So you put in your credit card and you had the transactions pull through. We at no point will ever have any access to any of the credit card username, password, nothing like that. But what it will show is what you just saw, which is every transaction. If you want to protect yourself from us or anybody being able to see that transaction, including the financial coach or the financial planner when you call in, check that box. Then we won't be able to see what your spending habits are or anything like that. Spending budget, cash flow, net worth, investments, we will not be, and the coaches will not be able to see that information. The bottom one, I would recommend unchecked, but it's obviously your call. The bottom one, if you check that box, we will not be able to assist you with that lifetime income piece where it was change what your needs and your goals and everything are. With that box unchecked, that allows us to see, okay, you have X amount in investments. We can't see anything else other than just totals for the purposes of being able to walk you through the tool. So feel free to lock as much or as little. We don't use this information for anything at all outside of just when you call. If you say, hey, well, why can't you see this? I have it, that privacy setting. So I personally would say that the top one, you can leave the bottom one, but obviously your call there. And then another unique feature that I really do think this is a pretty slick option. How many of you guys know where everything is that's related to your insurance or your investments or anything like that? Okay, so a few names, a few hands pointed up. That's about it. Well, this has a My Files feature. So now you guys just went through benefits, right? So now you come to your profile, you start a file, and I did this morning, call it My Benefits. And so now I can click on My Benefits, and I'm going to upload the packet I just got from my provider so that I can see and have that information stored. Or I just got something in the mail related to auto insurance, or maybe it's a will, or whatever it may be. You can create folders and start using this. We built this piece so that there should be a one-stop place for you to go to get educated and then to be able to execute based off of what you know. So certainly would highly recommend you using that feature as well. So that's just a very brief overview of the tool.
Can you show them how to start a chat or?
Yes, sorry about that. So, in the upper right-hand corner next to menu, big screens, but, so this is the part I would highly recommend you doing if you have questions about the program or yourself or whatever it may be. You can go to the upper right-hand corner, click the little calendar button, and set a calendar appointment with one of our financial planners and our financial coaches. So it's very easy. Schedule a new employment or a new appointment. Type in the field there that you'd like to learn something a little bit about college savings. That gives our team a little bit of time to get some resources, gathered, so that when you're having these conversations, it's not just, well, what do you want to talk about? Okay, let me think. We actually are prepared to have those conversations. It'll help you get better information, and it'll help you get through more quickly because we're all busy, right? And so then you can pick whatever day you want, and you can pick whatever time you want in 30-minute increments that we have on this calendar and folks to schedule. So that I would certainly highly recommend. The other piece here, there is a chat feature. So you can click the chat button, pull up one of our coaches, click on that, and you can chat with somebody right then and there about the tool, or maybe you're having issues loading something or whatever it may be. So certainly I would highly recommend using those tools. The calendar feature we're really excited about because we've trained quite a bit of our certified financial planning team to have access to be able to target you with targeted information throughout the piece. Am I missing anything else that we?
I think you got it.
All right. Well, again, thank you guys very much. We're happy.
Thought you were announcing something right there, so.
But for those who are, will they still have access to this tool? And is there a cost if you're no longer?
So what we're going to do right now, and this is one of the enhancements, because honestly, when we started talking to folks about this, the first lady I spoke with was, my kids need this. Okay, hold on, I've got to get, whatever. So we didn't ever actually anticipated doing it outside of an employer benefit, but we realized people want to keep it longer and want to give it to folks. So as of right now, you will stay on the system for the entire year. We are working, so if you happen to, or know somebody who may be leaving in a few months, that you would have it for the entire year. And then one of the enhancements we're trying to build out is capabilities for you to keep that information post-employment here at the Service Center. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
So I'm really excited about this. What I would love is if there was some kind of a quiz or certificate or something for finishing those learning modules that could be used multiple times for my teenage children.
Your teenage children?
Yeah, seriously. So like if they could go through the courses and prove to me they had done it,
Right. No, sorry,
that would be great.
we actually are working on the fact that it will track that from time to time so that you can see. Yes, we are working on
Little micro-credentialing there.
that.
Right.
I don't know about the
It's for a friend, right, Kim? We get it.
Get you a game changer award.
All right, Chris, thank you. Chris and Matt are going to stick around all the way through until the end, so if you think of another question, if you get bored with me talking and you think of other questions you want to ask them, when we're completely done, they'll be here and be able to answer most things, or start making a few notes on suggestions you already have for them. Truly, if you have a suggestion after, you sit down on Monday afternoon while everybody else is outside at the pool, and you decide, I'm going to go through some of that, and you see some things like, oh, I wish it had. Send me an email, okay, and let me forward it to Chris and Matt and the rest of the TCG crew to address. They may be able to say, yeah, it's already there, here's how you do it, or they may say, wow, that's a really good idea, let us add that. because they don't see this as a static program at this point. It is still, they are still able to enhance and add to it and make it better as we make suggestions to them. Now, it's rolling out to school districts a little later, but we're the first one on the docket. And actually, all of your information has already been loaded into the system, and it wasn't a lot of information, but the information they needed from the employer is already loaded in. Like I said earlier, you're going to get an email from me saying, hey, remember you heard this presentation? You're going to get an email from TCG with the instructions of how to log in. And don't forget, after you start logging in, it's going to send you another email with a confirmation number so it can confirm that it's actually you doing it. So they've built in those types of protections. So, okay, now,